Dr. Krishna Vedula is now based in India after 40 years as an engineering educator in US. He is now devoted full time to Indo-Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education, IUCEE, a Section 8 company with headquarters in Hyderabad. The objective of IUCEE is to improve quality and global relevance of engineering education in India with the assistance of global network of industry and academic experts. During the past 12 years, IUCEE has catalyzed significant transformations in engineering education in more than 100 institutions all over India. Dr. Vedula has BTech from IIT Bombay, MS from Drexel University, and PhD from Michigan Tech University, degrees in material science engineering. He has over 40 years of academic teaching and research experience in material science and engineering, as well as in engineering administration. At Case Western Reserve University, Lowell State University, and University of Massachusetts, Lowell in US. He has spent 1 year each at the US National Science Foundation and US Office of Naval Research, and 3 summers at NASA Lewis Research Center. Dr. Vedula has given invited talks at over 60 international research and teaching conferences all over the world. He has published over 75 peer-reviewed articles in materials and science engineering in journals, books, conference proceedings. He has graduated 15 students with MS degree and 10 students with PhD degrees. He has generated research funding of more than $4 billion as principal and co-investigator from a wide range of government and private agencies. As a college dean at UMass Lowell, he has successful in fundraising of over $5 million in scholarship, endowments, and the equipment. He was key leader at MA stat level in building and the MA STEM pipeline program, and in establishing $15 million for the STEM pipeline in MA Economic Stimulus Bill 2005. The state of Massachusetts awarded him Mass High Tech All-Star Award 2001 in education in recognition for his accomplishment in building collaborations between higher education, industry, K-12 in 2001. Massachusetts Telecommunications Council has recognized him with Workforce Development Leader of the Year 2000. The governor of Massachusetts has recognized his leadership role in engineering education in the state by appointing him to several advisory bodies, including the Regional Competitiveness Council in 2003 to 2006, the board member Merrimack Valley Venture Forum MA 2003 to 5, the board of Massachusetts Technological Collaborative 2002 to 2006, Massachusetts Educational Technology Advisor Council, Department of Education 2002 to 2006. Dr. Vedula was president, International Federation for Engineering Education Societies from 2010 to 2012. He has received numerous awards in recognition of his global leadership in engineering education, including Nikola Tesla Chain, the award at the 48th Conference on Engineering Pedagogy by International Society for Engineering Pedagogy, Thailand, in 2019. He was awarded the title of International Engineering Educator Honoris Causa at WEE, the World Engineering Education Forum 2014 in Dubai. He received 2014 IFEES President Award as Global Visionary Dubai in 2009, and Global Engineering and Engineering Technology Educator Award from ASEE American Society for Engineering Education in 2009. Dr. Vedula is the chief editor of Journal of Engineering Education Transformations. I think I'm not mute.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Dr. Vedula is a chief editor, Journal of Engineering Education Transformation, published in India since fall 2014, and has been co-chaired of 8 international conferences on transformations in engineering education. These are the signature programs of IUCEE. I think the list goes on. So
we can cut it short. Right.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So it is really a honor to be inviting you again to this program. May now request you to just take over.
Sure.
And,
thank you, Dr. Rajesh. And
my
I
pleasure,
hope all of
sir.
you had a little time to stretch for the last 10-15 minutes after the previous presentation.
Yes, sir.
So here we go. All right. So thank you all again. As Dr. Rajesh has mentioned, I've returned back to India. So I'm based in Hyderabad right now. And I'm excited to make this presentation, as I'm also excited to do a lot of work with almost 100 engineering colleges all over India. So I'm going to say, if you stop sharing your screen, I will start sharing my screen. Yeah, okay. Okay, now is my screen visible? Yeah, anybody confirm? Dr. Rajesh, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible, sir. It's visible.
Okay. Suddenly there was a dead silence. I thought 100 people out there, at least one person might say, yeah, it's visible. Go ahead.
Sir,
all right.
Sir,
I hope they're all real people out there, 100 people.
Yes, truly, sir. Sir, shall I? Yes, sir. Sir, with your permission, can I enable them to speak, or you want them to be mute?
Yeah. Now enable them to speak, please. Yeah, that's why, or maybe that's the reason they were not jumping up and down saying, yeah, we can hear you. Okay, yes. Let them say.
It's visible. It's
okay,
visible,
good. Enable them to speak. I mean, they're all responsible faculty members, so they will mute themselves and speak only when when they need to. So that's great. So that's great. So we will go through a little presentation here. I know this is a long presentation, 2 hours. Why they have this long presentation? Because it's usually attention span is not that long, and I'm hoping that I don't bore all of you. So hopefully you stay attentive. Maybe we can just get started with getting to know each other a little bit. You got to know a lot about me. I'm just curious which colleges you all are from. So if you can just chat in the chat box, just say which colleges you're from, because I'll see your name anyway from the chat. I'm curious to see which colleges you're from, and because I know a lot of the colleges all over India, so I've been working with many colleges the last 10 years or so. So if you think that it's a good idea, just put your college name in there. Oh, CV Raman, okay, MS Ramaiah, Punjab Technical University, Geetam, MSRIT, okay, wonderful. So from all over the place, good. So let me welcome you all, and the title is How to Nurture Today's Learners to Become Tomorrow's Leaders to Face Global Challenges. So that's a mouthful. It's a lot of things in there that we have to keep in mind. And let's see if I can. Okay, I'll put it back in here. There you go. Now I got the window. Okay, open. So today's learners, they're all in your colleges. They're all, for the most part, we're talking in the context of this presentation is engineering students. Okay, I'm sure there are maybe management students as well. Many of you are faculty from management, and there are other learners out there in the world. My experience has been essentially with engineering students. So I apologize from the beginning if the management faculty find me using the word engineering too often. But I think it's applicable to management students as well, and other students as well. It's multidisciplinary approach, and then they obviously will be graduating one of these years, and they eventually, hopefully, some of them will become leaders. many of them hopefully, and leaders should have a purpose. And so an important purpose that they hopefully will have is to address the global challenges. We're facing so many different challenges, and so sure, some of them will go and take up some good jobs, and of course even those jobs will be challenging and will address some important issue the world faces, but they will also be entrepreneurs. They will be and many of them will think about climate change and renewable energy and sustainability, poverty, and so on. So those are the global challenges. If you go to the United Nations website or other global websites, you'll find that there are the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. That's really what lots of challenges listed in there. So I think we have a responsibility to work with our learners today and help them acquire the skills and abilities to be leaders to address these challenges. Okay, so that's really what my focus is going to be. In fact, it just that's really also the broad focus of this Indo-Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education that that we founded more than 10 years ago, and now it's really active. We have almost 100 colleges involved in various ways with us. Okay, so the title, I'm not sure if I chose it or not. Leadership Growth Plan. I think the overall mission of IUCE and the way we are approaching this is in fact a roadmap for leadership for students. So I'm going to just use that, talk to you about what we are doing, specific examples, and there won't be much theory and stuff in here. It's just going to be lots of stuff that we're doing, things that we're doing to actually develop the learners to become better engineers in this case, and also better leaders to face global challenges. So that's going to be my thing. So, and again, feel free to text, to chat whenever you feel like it. I'll see if I can once in a while get in there and take a look at what you're saying, and maybe I can respond. All right. So right now I see that's VIT Vellore, Chettinad Hospital. Oh, okay. Somebody from the hospital is here, and then and let's see if I'm going to be. What's any other? I'm not an expert at Zoom, but I'm going to try to see if I can figure out where all the things are. Okay, so great. So this is, let me see right now. Good. I was so somebody is here from Chettinad Hospital. So that means it's really Ramaiah Institute of Technology, etc. Okay, so good. Okay, so so I'm going to start with a let's see. Make sure I can change the slides. A few buzzwords. I mean, they all think that you've heard. So they are buzzwords, as I call them, because a lot of times we use these words without really understanding what they mean, without being able to implement them or connect them with the reality of what's happening in our classrooms and our colleges. But it's important just to be aware. So really, it's in my these are the four things that really are important, right? I mean, it has to be, a leader has to lead change, to address the global challenges, and the leader has to have a vision, and that vision is not just the leader's vision; it's got to be a shared vision, because I believe more in facilitative leadership and shared vision leadership rather than somebody like a boss saying, "Okay, I'll do this, I'll do that," right? So you have a shared vision, which means you have to get the vision, develop the vision with the help of the people around you, so that they also are part of and buy into that same vision. It's not just your vision. And so you have to be able to inspire people to share the vision with you. And once it happens, then it becomes a lot easier to work with them, because they will then be inspired and share your vision, and they automatically become empowered to do things. And of course, in the process, some might make mistakes, and that's fine. We learn from our mistakes. And so so this is one way of looking at leadership. Another little slide that I borrowed from someplace. Skills. What does the leadership have to? What type of skills does this leader has to have in order to be effective? The most important is really communication. Being able to communicate with others, with people who are going to benefit from what you're doing, and the people who want to work with you as a team. And this is what we keep telling our, everywhere in our colleges, the accreditation process, the curriculum, everything communication skills, and employers are always telling that our students should have better communication skills, and so we are doing our best to help that. So leadership skills, one is motivation. Obviously to have that vision, you have to be motivated that something good is going to come out of it, and positive. Okay, many times there are many obstacles to change. Very few people want to change. They're comfortable with the way things are. And so when you try to think about change, it's not going to happen automatically. Change is not something automatic. So you have to struggle to make it happen. And so many times you don't succeed. And so you have to take a positive, optimistic attitude and say, hey, you're on the right track. There'll be some things may not work, but we will keep going and be positive, and use that positive approach to motivate your team members and others to communicate with them and keep things moving, because too often we are surrounded by people with negative, say, nahi hoga, won't work, it won't work, it won't work, it won't work, it won't work. And people are busy all the time giving us reasons why something won't work if you give them something positive to think about. Okay. And of course, creativity is very, very important. And so there are, the situations around us are changing so rapidly that you can't, that the solutions that were applicable in the past are no longer applicable in the future because the situations have changed. So we have to be creative and coming up with new ideas, new ways of approaching problems and solving them. And of course, most importantly, we have to constantly keep our ears open. We have to listen. And if you again ask some of our employers of our students and ask them what are one of the some important skills, it's a communication skills, right? And communication skills doesn't just mean listening, doesn't just mean talking, it also means listening. Listening is a very, very important communication skill. And many times I've seen in meetings with faculty and students and others, everybody wants to talk, okay, and they won't listen. So that is not good, okay? We have to learn to listen to other people, understand other people's point of view, and then in a positive way, in a creative way, work together to make things happen. So that feedback, very, very critical, okay? So, and most importantly, we are all together. No one person is the boss, okay? It's a collective leadership. So if you are one of the people here who has maybe has kind of the role of moving things forward, I would call you a facilitative leadership. You're all groups together. There's no one person standing out and say, hey, I know the way, everybody follow me. That's not how it works. Okay, good leadership is not like that. I know the way, everybody follow me. No. We are all in it together. Let's together figure out the way. Let's together work together and make it happen. And that's what I think is really critical. Okay, so having given my little bit of general stuff, let me just jump to something that's quite different. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about engineering for the most part, but you can almost substitute engineering and leadership in many ways, the words. It's so when you engineer something, you are leading change, you're designing and building something that is going to address a problem, and so you're a leader in that sense. Okay, so engineers, who are real engineers, who look at challenges around them and find and build a team and work together to solve that problem, is actually a leader, because you're making change happen, addressing the needs of the society around you. So all engineers should try to be leaders and not just sit and follow. All right. Come up with creative ideas to lead. So this is somebody, maybe thousands of years ago, maybe, who that community had a need. Even today, you'll see them, of course, in some forest healthy areas and so on. But let's think ourselves back maybe 1,000, 2,000 years ago, in lots of places all over the world. The bow and arrow had not been invented. Right? Somebody had to invent it. It didn't just happen. So how did the bow and arrow get engineered and designed and invented? So there's obviously somebody who had a very creative mind, looked around and said, I need food. Okay, I'm hungry. That's one of my basic needs. And I'm looking around and I'm saying there's that little wild chicken running around, that little wild rabbit running around, that little deer running around. Maybe that might be good. maybe tasty, maybe something worth eating. I mean, this is not, they're not talking about vegetarians here. They're people who could eat whatever helps to fill their stomach. So, so the need is there. I want to find a way to catch and kill that animal. I cannot do it with my bare hands, and I cannot run after it fast enough because it runs faster than me. I need to design a tool to satisfy that need. And that's what engineering is. And being able to think of different ways to make that happen and actually implement it and help other people in the community use the bows and arrows and satisfy their hunger is leadership. Okay. So, so this person looked around and says, how can I catch it? How can I kill it? Okay. That is the problem statement, right? And says, so I, and through a variety of different things, various ways, I'll find, I look around, I'm curious, I look around at nature. There's a little stick there, and so I'm playing around with it, and I say, oh, I can bend the stick, okay? It won't break. When I bend it and release it, it bends back. Oh, that's elasticity. Oh, wow, I discovered physics, law of physics, elasticity. So it bends back. Then I look around and say, okay, well, that's good. Maybe I don't know if I can use that somehow, but to kill the animal, maybe I can just throw the stick at the animal, but that won't work. Maybe I can put a stone at the end of the animal, at the end of the stick, and throw it. Now I've invented a spear, which might be helpful. But I want to go a step further, and I take that stick, I bend it, and say, I'm thinking, okay, thinking. Some group of people, maybe there's something to do here. So I say, maybe I find something now that's hanging on a tree, a little rope-like fiber, and I tie it to the bent stick. So I have stored the elastic energy in that tool. So once I've stored the elastic energy in that tool, I said, okay, I can use that elastic energy to propel a bow towards my target. So I find another little stick, and at the end of that, I have a little tip because I need a sharp tip to be able to kill the animal. And so, and so all of this is happening in my mind. I'm maybe doing it all alone, or maybe most probably I'm just trying out some things and testing it out, and a group of people are working with me. And so eventually, bingo, somebody, wow, okay. And after a lot of trial and error, primitive bow, and so then eventually I've designed a team of people, a community of people has designed a bow and arrow, which allows them to take care of a very, very basic need, food, okay? That is engineering. And the process by which you succeeded in doing this shows leadership, okay? So now you have, people in Olympics, very, very sophisticated bows with all kinds of gadgets and stuff, and people have competitions, so on. But that tool, the simple bow and arrow, has evolved with lots and lots of other features to it. And I just wanted to put that in there. I found that in the newspaper a few weeks ago when some of our youngsters did very well at the Olympics in Tokyo. Okay, so I'm coming at leadership from the point of view of engineering and creativity and problem solving and satisfying a need, right? So we have many needs, okay, and I can put up a whole list. There may be more. I put up food, where human beings have food, water, shelter, communication, health, entertainment, transportation, security. And when you talk about global challenges today, most of those global challenges are related to these basic needs as well, okay? So I'm going to have, okay, let's see, I'm going to focus on just the ones in red, communication, health, and transportation. And let's talk a little bit about, about the bow and arrow obviously was for the need of food, right? The other, let's say communication, health, transportation. So let us see, let's go back in history again or not. Let's see what my next slide tells me about that. Okay, think of, okay, first, before we do that, think of one technology being used in this communication, health, or transportation, and put in a chat box. Just put a chat box. What are we using today for communication? What are we using today? What technology or tool for health? What technology or tool for transportation? Let's get a few reactions here. Let's see. Okay, let's go, guys. Pick up. Okay, a little active involvement here. All right. I'm going to wait for you to chat. For you to chat. You can always speak if you want. Unmute yourself and shout it out. I don't care. Okay. Digital what? I mean, what is digital? Doesn't make any. It's just that one word doesn't mean anything, right? What is a tool? what is it satisfying? Communication, health, transport. Okay. Vehicle. Okay. Vehicle for transportation. Internet for communication. Okay. Thank you, and Arijit. Let's get some more action here, guys. We have plenty of time to jump in. Okay.
Social media is also a mode of communication.
Absolutely, yes. Social media is a mode of communication, definitely. Fitbit watch, okay. Technology for health. Yes, thanks, Sanjana, Sarjana. Yeah, let's keep get a few more people. Get in there, okay.
Chatbot is also a means of communication in case of
mobile communication, health, telemedicine. Yes, keep coming. Chat, Vishwas, good. Thank you, Vishwas. Manoj Kumar.
Chatbot,
okay, that's a robotic thing. Yeah, that's good. That's again communication. Others, transportation, health. All right, keep coming. So what are we using today? So many things, right? Transportation, mobile banking, transportation. We have airplanes, cars. We call electric vehicles, and the metros, and so on. And then for health, we have all kinds of CAT scan machines. At the top of a hat, something goes wrong with you, you go to the hospital, and they want to do a CAT scan, right? MRIs, and there's so many tools out there in the hospital that are.
In case of health, it is robotic surgery.
Sure, absolutely, yes. Okay, so that's good. So we got some good interaction. Artificial intelligence, yes, that's another tool for connecting different technologies together, and it could be termed as a bridge between communication and other things. All right. So so now let's just then go on to the next slide, and let's see what I can say. It's okay. Now this is just an imaginary transportation technology, right? It's not been. We're going to call it a time machine. Okay, we're going to call it a time machine. Let's see if I can put that word, time machine. Okay, it's a time machine, right? Not invented yet, but maybe one of your students or you might invent a time machine, and you can get into it. I think some of you might have read science fiction. There have been people writing books about time machines and so on, but not yet. We don't have it in reality. So I mean, so you can think of a machine like this where you might go in and press a button. Okay, press a button so you can go forward in time or backward in time. So just imagine yourselves that there's a machine in front of you called the time machine, and we are going to go backward in time. Okay, 100 years. So close your eyes. Go back 100 years. It's what's the date today? September 17th. So go back September 17th, 1921. And close your eyes and think about and get out of your and then open your eyes at 1921. Get out of the door of the time machine and look around you. Okay, 100 years ago. What technologies were being used for communication in 1921? What technologies were being used for health in 1921? What technology was used for transportation in 1921? Okay, let's hear some texting from folks there. Yeah.
Vehicle was automobile like buses.
Okay.
And
Birds for communication, automobiles. Automobile was it invented by that time 100 years ago? Was there automobiles at that time? Anybody know?
yes,
there was also for transportation we had trams.
Trams. Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Trams were there 100 years ago, but you might want to Google information about
1921, right, sir? So it's just the period where you had colonized. No, okay.
Okay. But
So maybe cycles.
Were there cars? Yeah, bicycles is more common, right?
Yeah.
Cars were just coming.
Booming. Yeah.
Quite new. But most things were just bullock carts, horses. As you said, cycles. Yeah, cycle had been invented by that time. And for communication, you had Letters, just write letters, push the mailbox and somebody takes it. Health, food
Letters
practices
and
according to
telegrams.
season. Letters, yeah. Telephone, was it
Telegram.
invented
We
by
had
that?
messengers.
Telephone. Did we have telephone at
had-
that time? Probably not, right? Alexander.
Telegram.
Telegram, yeah, telegram. I was just getting in there.
We had messengers going and
Correct.
delivering messages.
Postcards, messages going from one place to another. Great. Okay, so that's what it was 100 years ago. Okay, so so now just you're in there and you're looking around yourself, and there you see in that village that you landed, you saw your great grandmother, right, sitting there. Okay, so you say, grandma, come on with me. I'll take you to a different place. I'll come into my time machine with me, right? So you bring her onto your time machine with you and bring her back, okay, to 2021 today, right? So when you bring her back, she is going to see what's going on today. Okay, the technologies for these things are going on today. Okay, so it's going to say, wow, what is this? Oh, a mobile phone. Wow, I can talk to somebody 3,000 miles away and see their face also. Wow. Oh, look at this. I can get into an airplane and travel around the world in a few hours. My God. Oh, look at this. I can, if I had a bad heart, somebody can replace it with a new heart. Oh my God. So that grandma is going to be amazed at all the things that we are doing today, technologies, right? And compared to what she has lived with 100 years ago. So these technologies that have developed over the last 100 years, how did they happen? Not just a miracle, right? There's no magic wand. How did they happen? They happened because they were leaders in society. They were leaders in the past 100 years, leaders with a vision, who saw the need for improving certain things and worked together to come up with new ideas, creative ideas, and come up with technologies. And so engineering leaders have developed these technologies over the last 100 years, the ones that you're seeing today compared to what they were just 100 years ago, right? So that's what really engineering is about. Okay, it's showing leadership to address the needs around you and develop technologies and tools and services, right? So these are, so right now you're there, you're in 2021, and I'm saying now let's take another journey, get back in the time machine, go forward, go to September 17th, 2121, 100 years from now, move in the front, forward, in the time machine. Imagine yourself, go on there, right? Once you go there, now think, okay? About one technology, which probably is being used in 2121 for communication, health, and transportation. Let's hear what you have to say now, okay?
Yeah, probably we might have coolers where we wink, and people might we can see them through our coolers instead of mobile phones. You know, when we wink, some technology in the coolers where we can connect with them through audio calls. I mean, audio and video calls.
Yeah, it's difficult, right? It's not that easy.
Yeah, of course, everything is possible.
It's not that easy to imagine, right?
But 100 years back, people would have not imagined us speaking in a mobile phone, right? So
exactly, they would not even have imagined it.
Possible. Yeah. So it might be possible 100 years in the future.
Who knows what will have, what you'll see in 100 years.
And we may also have internal, engines instead of hearts.
Let's hear the chat box. Let's hear from the chat. Let's hear some people put it in. Come in, guys. Let's hear some addition. What are you going to see 100 years, okay? Robots replaced by manpower or replacing manpower, okay? Come in. Other ideas, other that you can imagine for health, transportation, communication, artificial intelligence. But for what? What are they? What is that? That's a tool, right? Artificial intelligence is a tool for what will you do it for communication, health, or transportation? What will you use it for?
All the regular jobs will be done by machines, and human brain will be used in innovating newer things.
Okay. Other comments on the chat box. Come in, folks. Tablets instead of food, okay? You're not going to enjoy the fun of a masala dosa. You just have a tablet. Is that what you're going to do? Autonomous vehicles. You're not going to enjoy the taste of some good food and drink. You're just going to have tablets. People will be on the moon. Okay, I wonder why would they be on the moon? Is there some value to that? Autonomous vehicles, etc. So I mean, you can see that you are all struggling to figure out what robotic surgery. Yeah, that's that's good. That's going to help you save lots of lives. Settlement on Mars. Okay, so thank you, Shashi. Thank you, Vadaraj. Great. So stretch your imagination. Okay, and come up with thinking. Okay, so that's what you know. And so if you think about that, right? I'm going to go back to the next slide. These technologies that you can't even imagine that's going to be there in 100 years will have been invented by engineers, okay, and managers, okay, people with business skills, entrepreneurs, and who understand the ways to move forward now. And so we'll invent this and develop technologies, okay. You know, I mean, we are seeing around us already some challenges. Water scarcity has become a problem, right? Environmental issues. Some of the most polluted cities in the world are in India. Water, remember last year when we had some water shortage, we had to have all these trains going from Vellore to Chennai, remember? And so water shortages everywhere. And of course, now there's a lot of rain, but you know, water shortages, waste management, and yeah, COVID. Look at that. Look at the global challenge we're facing with COVID, and we're trying to struggle with it and get over it. So global challenges, we don't know what the next challenge will be. Whoever thought even 2 years ago that there is something like COVID and they will all be, you know, doing all these things online, right? So engineers are problem solvers. Okay, we look around and say, look, there's new challenges here today. COVID is here today. Engineers, medical people, everybody, all thinking people will address these challenges and come up with new solutions to these challenges, right? So your students, yourself, your students, their students will invent the technologies that will be used commonplace in 100 years if we manage to address all the challenges which will prevent the world from, you know, destroying itself. Hopefully, I'm sure I'm optimistic that that will not happen, but you know, but we have to be careful that we all do the good things, positive things, and address the global challenges. Okay, so energy problem, right? There's energy problem, there is climate change problem, there is environmental problems, so global challenges, poverty, food, health, and so on. Okay, so engineering people who have engineering skills will have developed these. Your students, your and so on, right? So that you know is what engineering is about. Okay, and how do we teach engineering? I mean, the only way they can engineers can invent and develop this technology is by doing engineering, right? How do we teach? How do we teach engineers to invent and develop these technologies, right? That's what we try to do in our 4 years or so inside the classroom. Do we teach them by learning how to do engineering? What is our common way of teaching them, right? Are they learning to do engineering? Will they be able to solve these problems and because we're teaching them how to do engineering? How to teach students to do engineering? Okay, let's answer that question. Because unless they can do engineering, they will not be able to take a leadership role and be creative and come up with these new ideas to address the challenges that the world faces and more will be facing in the future, right? How to teach students to do engineering. So let's just take a simple example here, right? I want to teach students to ride a bicycle. So I say, okay, how do I do that? I can give them a book. Hey, look, this book is an excellent book on how to ride a bicycle. Read it, memorize every word of it. And then after that, you'll be able to ride a bicycle. Okay. And you know, that's not going to happen, right? So I scratch my head. Okay. Let me go beyond the books. Let's say I'm going to give you a lecture. I'm going to put you in a room, give you a lecture and show you all these nice pictures about a bicycle with PowerPoint slides and video clips and PowerPoint slides and everything. So, wow, look, this is how a bicycle works and this is how you should ride a bicycle. Is that going to do the job? Are you going to be, the student going to be able to ride a bicycle after you showed them all these lectures and PowerPoint slides? No, not really. And I say, okay, maybe if I show them a videotape of a person riding a bicycle, maybe that's it. So that should help, right? Help the student learn how to ride a bicycle. No, well, not really, right? You still don't know how to ride a bicycle? You must be stupid. I've done all these things and you're not learning how to ride a bicycle. You are stupid. You're a slow learner because you haven't learned how to ride a bicycle, even though I gave you all these books and PowerPoint slides and videos about riding a bicycle. You are a slow learner. Okay. Then it's okay, maybe I should take them outside and show them an actual person that is riding a bicycle. Boy, I'm a smart faculty member, right? I'm a smart teacher. I'm finding all these creative ways to teach the student how to ride a bicycle, and still they're not learning. Wow, something's wrong with them. So the problem is that unless all of this will not help unless they get on a bicycle. Okay. You learn how to ride a bicycle by riding the bicycle, by getting on a bicycle, not by reading books about it, not by listening to lectures about it, not by seeing videotapes about it, not by seeing somebody else riding a bicycle. You learn how to ride a bicycle by riding a bicycle. When you try to ride, you will fall down. You will make mistakes. Nothing wrong with that. That's a learning process. Trial and error is part of the learning process. And a mentor on the side will be there to help hold the seat sometimes, help you balance, and eventually you learn how to ride a bicycle. This is exactly how we need to be teaching students to do engineering. Okay. So doing engineering is like riding a bicycle. Teaching people to ride a bicycle, they should learn how to do engineering, not just listen to PowerPoint slides about engineering, just read books about engineering, videos about engineering, or demonstrations about engineering. Doing engineering is not going to come by all of those activities. You might get a small idea of what engineering is about, but not how to do engineering, okay? Simple thing, just building something with their hands, doing engineering. Okay, simple projects, simple activities for doing engineering. Not by just sitting and listening to lectures. Even within a classroom, they should be doing something related to engineering, working together and constructing, building something. That's really how we should teach engineering, right? And I'm sure many of you are already doing these things, where students are learning how to do engineering. But for the most part, not just in India, but all over the world, this is what a classroom looks like for the most part. Students are sitting, listening, sitting, listening. And the teacher goes on and on and on because, oh, I have to finish my curriculum, right? I have to use all my time to finish my curriculum. I have to, very important. So I'm going to go on lecture, PowerPoint slides, etc. Students are listening and wondering. And so there's no opportunity for the students to be creative. And so this is not going to really come up with engineers who can do engineering and become leaders. They'll just memorize something, because after a while they realize that you're just going to go on lecturing. You're not going to give them an opportunity to discuss anything or try something out or do something. You're not going to give that opportunity. So they'll just assume now, well, this is the way it is, right? This is what my college is about. My parents have sent me here. This is what I have to do. So the only way I can survive is to mug up something, because exams are geared towards that. Mug up something and pass exams. After end of 4 years, I've done a lot of mugging up, a lot of passing exams, but I haven't learned how to do engineering. Very little about that, right? And so how can I be a leader? How can these engineers become leaders if they've never even done engineering to a significant extent? All they've done is mugged up words that don't really mean a whole lot. So what do you think? What's your reaction to what I'm just saying? So should we not change how we do engineering? Maybe you already are doing it. Okay? And I compliment you for that. You're already doing it, but there's a lot to be done. Even if you're doing it already, you have to do more of it. You have to help others also do more of it. You have to change the system. And this is important because it's an interesting thing, because if you look at what's going on in the country also, if you look at the national new education policy that we have, that hits it right, nail on the head. It says our education should be multidisciplinary and holistic. Okay, this should be, we should make leaders out of our students. So we have to change how we teach. That's what the NEP policy is telling us again and again in every page. We have to go away from this conventional way of lecturing and getting students to mug up and pass exams. So first make them good engineers so they can do engineering. And once they're good engineers, then they can then be creative, have a vision, look at the global challenges and solve, address global challenges, become leaders, right? That's the process. We must change, okay? Even if we are sitting there and say, oh, I'm already doing this, you're probably not doing enough, okay? And if you're doing something and it's working, share it with everybody else around you. Help somebody else who's not that aware of how to change how we teach, help them. Okay, so as a community, your faculty in your department, in your college should all get together and discuss these things. How do we change how we teach so that we can graduate engineers who can do engineering, and by doing engineering, we gradually become leaders in addressing global challenges, okay? All right, so that little heavy stuff, right? But that's important. You can see that I'm really passionate about that. Okay, so I did a little survey of the World Education Forum, right? They said, okay, this is important stuff, and they made a list of the top 10 skills that our students might need to have to succeed in the year 2025. That's all of your students are entering now, come out in 2025. And the World Economic Forum is saying that our learners who are with you right now and for whom we have a responsibility to teach them stuff, whether you're in our classroom, they're paying fees. And if you look at all this list, analytical thinking, active learning, complex problem solving, okay, critical thinking, creativity, leadership, technology use, technology design. So there is some technology in there, but for the most part, it's not directly connected with technology, technical skills, right? And so just so that you can see it a little more clearly, I've put it up in a different slide so you can see the same words, but a little bit larger, the 10 things. And a few of them are related to technology, but for the most part, it's related to activity, doing something, thinking creatively, okay, being original initiative, etc., etc. So, and it's even got human stuff, stress tolerance, resilience, flexibility, reasoning, okay. So all of these are required to be a leader in the future to address the challenges the world is facing and will continue to face. So that's what we have to think about. How can we as faculty members help our students move in this direction? We have to listen, okay, to what people around the world are saying. And this is an important slide. I'm going to show it again later again, but just to there is something called the design process. Okay, this is a problem-solving approach, the problem-based learning. Some of you have heard. Okay, so if you're able to implement this in as many courses as possible, you are most likely to have provided some of the skills are listed here. Okay, and these skills, you have to put them in context. So you have to do problem-based design, problem-based solving, where a student might look at a challenge that they're facing, and they do it with the leadership skills that we're trying to give them. They are trying to understand the problem better, and they're trying to put together a team of people with a shared vision to address that problem. Do some more research. I need to understand the problem more carefully. If I'm just superficial about it, the solution is not going to help. I would really do some research about the problem. Why is this happening? What is the reason? Where's the root cause? And then once I do that, that happens through brainstorming, communication skills, it's the listening. And then a team of us gets together. So now I've got to find different ways to design a solution. Alternate solutions, item number 3. And then as a team, with one or two of them having a little more leadership ability than others, but working together as a team, justify one solution that might work, because you can't implement all the possible designs, right? It starts somewhere based on the resources and the money that you have and other stuff. Develop a prototype and then see if it works to solve the problem. If it doesn't work, then you go back and use another solution and so on. All of this involves all of the things that are in this: analytical thinking, learning, problem solving, critical thinking, originality, initiative, leadership. You're trying to solve problems that involve society. So you're trying to influence the social society, community partners, and you're using some technology and some design, program, etc. And while you're doing all this, you're getting all stressed out. You have to maintain some flexibility and ideation, etc. So all of these skills are happening when you go through a problem-solving approach like this. Students are developing all of those skills. You cannot teach courses in these. I cannot say, I'm designing a curriculum where I'm going to teach one course on analytical thinking, one course active learning, one course on creativity, one course that is not going to work. They have to learn all of these things by doing stuff, by doing engineering, by doing a project, addressing a problem, right? Now, step back a little bit and look at this slide here. Many of you have working director, principal, administrator saying, hey, NBA is going to come visit us. You got to get prepared for it. And so all of you have hopefully seen this list of 12 attributes that NBA says our students should have, engineering graduates should have. Okay, there's 12 attributes: knowledge of engineering, problem analysis, investigation, design, use of engineering tools. So those are all pretty much most of the time all our courses, our curriculum, the 4 years mostly addresses those first 5. But the NBA also says, and this is similar to ABET and anybody else around the world, NBA also says that our graduates should have the skills for teamwork, communication skills, professionalism, come to a meeting on time. Okay, that's professionalism. Do things professionally. Impact of engineering on society and environment, ethics, be honest, don't cheat, don't plagiarize. Design for the public good, not include corruption in what you do as an engineer. Ethics, equity. High income, low income people, look out for everybody in society. Project management, time management, economics, how to include all of these in any of the engineering things that we do. Lifelong learning. By the time a student graduates, most of what you have taught them in the classroom has become obsolete because new knowledge has emerged. So they have to continue to learn new stuff. Artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning, these are all things that you're not teaching in class, but most of your graduates are out there have to learn it on their own. So if you look at these, most of the skills that are there are things that you don't include in it, that you don't do in your curriculum, for your curriculum. And those skills should not be obtained by just conventional classroom. They have to be obtained by doing projects, or working in problem-based learning. Okay, so keep that in mind. So I'll keep focusing on. I think looking at the time here, we've got plenty of time for me to keep pushing on this a lot more. So you're getting a general idea of what I'm trying to emphasize in this presentation on leadership, of getting students, learners to become leaders for global challenges, right? So, IUCE, a little bit about IUCE. This is what we try to do. What I've just told you about in the last few slides is what our passion is. We have a bunch of people here in our organization who are passionate about what I just talked about. And these are people around the world. And Indo-Universal collaboration. Our mission is to help improve the quality of engineering education in India. That's the focus. And by doing that, develop leaders who can address global challenges. So this requires, it's not a magic formula, just one thing and everything gets solved, right? You have to have many things together, right? And we call that ecosystem. So I'm putting here a ecosystem, like, we have mountains, stuff like that. So you have many, many things that have to happen for this young lady to become a good graduate, comfortable. So we are going to talk about some of the elements of the ecosystem. Here, there's sun, the clouds, the mountains, the trees, etc., etc. So we have put together a lot of different things for nurturing the ecosystem. Put down some words here. So IUC has many of these programs for this young lady to become a graduate engineer and a leader. Okay, we have programs with faculty, programs for students, we have collaborations, partnerships, conferences, summits for leadership, for students, conferences, courses, Clean and Green Campus course, research methods, global partnerships, etc. So these are all different pieces of the ecosystem that will help this young graduate become an engineer and a leader. Okay, so that's the goal of IUC, is to provide these various elements of the ecosystem. And so we think continuously, what are the things that we can do to help this engineering graduate become a leader to address the global challenges. Okay, so that's what we do. That's what IUC does. Okay, we have experts around the world who help us in this process. About 100 very active, another few more also there. Right now we have about 100 colleges, about 50 of them pay membership, and that's how we can maintain a small staff to help us do all the things that we do. And so some of you might see now college names in here. Thank you for being part of what we do. If you don't see your names in here, if you never heard of IUC, send me an email. And if you think your leadership thinks it's worth investing a small amount of money to be part of what we're doing, we'll talk to the leadership. All right. So that's the ecosystem for helping engineers develop these, to develop these skills, these attributes, is what we try to do. Okay, so just quickly going with a few examples of what we have done this last year, 2020, in spite of the COVID. We have something called a teacher certification course, where we teach faculty. And this last year, 300 faculty went through that, where they actually learn about dynamic classroom, project-based learning, how to set proper, better quizzes and exams, and they actually then use their classroom as a laboratory to try out some of these ideas. And we have another course on online teaching. Last year, everybody wanted. So we have some people knew how to use some tools, others did not. So we had a course on that, on different ways, different tools. How to do research methods. Faculty do research, not in a domain area, but not just in domain area, but also in how to research and engineering education, how to teach better. That's research also. So these are some of the faculty programs, right? As part of the ecosystem, because unless we help the faculty, the students aren't going to benefit. If the faculty have all of the have some things that they change, then the students also will change as a result of the faculty. So engineering education research, some mobile apps for teaching. Then we had a soft skills certification for faculty. And then now we come to students, right? We had a course on leadership for students. Last year, we had a course on soft skills for students. Entrepreneurial thinking. I mean, we don't expect all the students to become entrepreneurs, but we get them to think like entrepreneurs, because that will develop this type of skills that we're talking about for becoming leaders. So these are courses. Last year, we had all of these students from different institutions of ours participating. We had a course, Artificial Intelligence for All, from Dr. Vemuri from California. We had other virtual labs that people are using in different courses. We had a course on Clean and Green Campus. So the students got together in teams and said, okay, what can I do on my campus to make it more clean and green? Maybe some solar energy panels, maybe some waste management, et cetera, smart manufacturing with the help of partners at IIT Delhi, remote internships. So some of the examples of stuff that we had for students, right? That's part of the ecosystem. All of these are part of the ecosystem. So what else does IUC do? What's the we have, and some of you might have received emails from me and wondered what's going on. We have every week, we have at least 2 or 3. In fact, today evening at 5 o'clock, we have an expert of talking intellectual property, a webinar on that, and so on. So we have every week 2 or 3 webinars, some from India, some from abroad, around the world. So you continuously have a choice of things that you can upgrade yourself on. As I just mentioned a little while ago, we have the teacher certification program, and these are the faculty from around the world who participate in teaching this course. They teach different parts of this course, the teaching and learning principles, or how to create a dynamic classroom, curriculum design, harnessing technology for teaching, how to assess and set quizzes, how to collaborate. So what happens here is we have a phase 1 where one of these experts will take 3 days face-to-face, because we also have a virtual online version of it because of the COVID last year. So it takes several sessions, 3-hour sessions on each. They learn everything, a little bit about everything here. And then after that, the second phase, for 2 or 3 weeks, they focus on each module and do some assignments and get graded. And they also try some of the activities in their own classrooms and do assignments based on that. They reflect on it and talk to instructors and then get feedback. And so all of this takes like 7-8 months, phase 1 and 2 combined. And finally, they have to put together a teaching portfolio. So it's really, it's not just listening to something, listening to a MOOC or listening to something on videotape and just getting a certificate. No, that's not what it's about. It's about listening to some things and trying it out, doing teaching. While you're doing teaching, you try out some of these things and then improve it, right? Continuous improvement requires doing something and improving it, not just sitting and listening to MOOCs from some portal somewhere. At the end of that, so yeah, I'm now a better teacher because I've just listened to a lot of webinars, right? A little bit like what we're doing here. Because I really don't like this format that we have, where you have faculty development program and a lot of money is being spent by whoever. Whole week, you have different people talking for 2 hours for the whole week. And the connection between the different topics has not been made because I've never talked to any of the other people that are presenting this week. So it's not designed. The overall program is just random people, random topics. Of course, there's one common theme, coming and talking about what they like to talk about best, and just talking. Okay, just like this one-way delivery that you have in classrooms, and just talking to the students, and then you give them a quiz, right? Exam. That does not help you learn, right? So this methodology, the way I'm teaching you today, is absolutely wrong. You're not learning. I hope you're learning something, but not really learning a lot. It would be ideal if maybe at least we had breakout sessions where we discuss some of these things, or maybe face-to-face, share some experience and so on. But anyway, that's the limitation that we have, and we're going to continue to do this for about another 1 hour, and hopefully some of you will benefit from some of my thoughts. So anyway, this course is again, as I said, it's not just lecture. Some lectures are there, but lots of activity, lots of hands-on, doing stuff, the way we should be teaching students to do engineering, not just listen and mug and pass exams, right? So we do this course in a way that's interactive, doing stuff. And we have almost 1,000 faculty that have been gone through this process from different institutions, certified. And the feedback we get from them is that they really have transformed the way students are learning, right? Another program that we had is this collaboration with Purdue University. It's called Engineering Projects and Community Service, EPICS. My good friend Bill Oakes at Purdue. We've been go way back to 5-10 years. The idea is that anywhere around you in your college, outside your college, in the urban communities, in the villages nearby, there are problems that need to be solved. There's things that you can do for the community, provide a service to the community. It might be related to education, to energy, to water, to health, whatever, right? And many of those things can be small projects for the students to work on in your college. The help of faculty member guiding. And that's the idea of EPICS, Engineering Projects and Community Service. And so we've had many institutions involved in this, many students involved for the past several years. Let me make an important point, because you might say, hey, how can they become good engineers by working on a community project, right? Let me try to tell you, okay, the process that we are talking about, the design thinking process, problem solving process, it is a process of solving problems. If you learn the process of solving problems on a community project, you're still learning the process. And that process can be translated. Once you learn that process, you can then build a space shuttle using the same process. You might come with a great app, IT app, or you might do a lot of machine learning, robotics. Any project requires some basic steps that they have to learn. And so you have to practice those basic steps of problem-based learning. And so working on community projects which are easily available helps students to practice that process. I mean, they might benefit the community, but in addition to that, they're learning the process of doing projects, doing engineering, and they can use the same process in other projects, in other more sophisticated engineering projects. So that's really something to keep in mind. Otherwise, you might say, oh no, I don't want my students to be just doing community service. No, they learn a process, they learn communication skills, they learn teamwork, they learn how to research on different things. And those skills are what's important. Okay, so what other stuff do we do? So we meet once a year. We have one coming up in January 2022 when we already have 150 papers submitted. So we share, collaborate, right? So we've had conferences 2014. The first one, in fact, was at Kali Tech University, one of our initial strong partner. Second one was at BMS College of Engineering in Bangalore, and so on. Okay, so that was in 2015 at BMS. So every year, about 600, 700, 800 faculty, leaders, students get together, share. Hey, what did you do? What worked? What did not work? And so that's what we do, right? It's not coming up. You can join that if you want. This virtual, of course. This year, last year, it was virtual because we couldn't get together. But before that, face to face. Leadership summits. Leaders, deans, heads of departments, directors, principals get together, share problems, talk to each other. What's going on? Okay. This year we had a lot of discussion on NEP, National Education Policy. Everybody said, okay, what do we need to do? How do we get prepared? What do we do? What can we do? Okay. That kind of sharing and thinking is very important. Okay. And students are very important for us. So we have student leadership development programs. Each of these, most of the colleges, and we're still working on it, have student chapters, leadership, where they learn leadership skills, work together, do projects. They meet once a year annually along with the annual conference. They meet another time a year to the student summit, or they organize themselves. They learn how to plan events. They learn how to invite people, how to work with people, and how to do projects. So all of these are exciting stuff that we do every year. And this is part of the, the topic for today's talk was a plan for developing student leadership, right? This is it. These are elements of a plan. You may or may not want to be part of IUC, but you need all of these elements. So do it yourself on your own. Okay? Put some of the elements together to help your students become better leaders to address global challenges. Having been outside India for 40 years, I have a lot of contacts all over the world. So I bring all of those contacts to the network of Global Indian Deans Council, President Society, all of these things. And so, they give webinars, they visit, they do stuff, they come to conferences and so on. And even within our colleges, we meet regularly on all these topics. Faculty get together once a month, talk, share. And so it's important. And if problems are too complicated for me to sit in my own institution and try to solve them. It's like a frog sitting in a well, right? Oh, I have a beautiful well, and I'm a frog at the bottom of this well, and I'm going quack, 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 quack to each other and talking to each other, all the other frogs in the well, but and I think, oh, I'm the greatest frog. This is the greatest well that I have, and I'm ranked #1. Okay. But there's a whole world out there that you need to communicate with, find out about them, talk to them, learn from them. Okay, so let's not just be frogs in a well, just internally in our institution. Oh, I'm the greatest, I'm the best, I have the highest rank, and so on. I don't need to talk to anybody else. That's wrong. You have to share and collaborate. And that kind of environment is what is important. That ecosystem for sharing is very important. Okay. And so we have, and you know, we have a journal, which is a Scopus Index journal, where faculty, mostly faculty, some students also publish. This is not domain research. This is research on how to teach better. Remember, I said we have to change how we teach in order to make sure that we get to the point of students becoming leaders for changing, for addressing global challenges. And so a lot of research is done by different faculty in different colleges, and they publish it. And this is a way to get credit for publication as well as to help others learn what they're doing. We have some industry folks, Dept, MathWorks, Dassault, and various companies are working with us. So let's spend a little time now on the big talk of the day, right? Everybody's talking about NEP. What do we do? What do we do? What do you do? So Vice Chancellor is talking about it. MHRD talking about it. AICT talking about it. Everybody's talking NEP. It's a beautiful document. And when we first started, it was hundreds of pages. I think the latest document is less than 100 pages, which is good. You can actually read it. I've read the whole document, and these are some of the bullets that focus on some of these things. It's great. Read it. Memorize it. And then I'll give you an exam so you can answer the exam, right? And wow, I know all about national education policy. I will get top rank in knowing about the national education policy because I've read every line, I've memorized it, and I have answered quizzes, and I have given an exam about NEP. Right? Wrong. Okay. That is not getting you anywhere. You have to implement it. You have to do it. Figure out ways to make your education more holistic, multidisciplinary. Do what you can to help improve the learning environments for students, support them, get them away from mugging up and passing exams. You have to motivate yourself, or your leaders in your college have to find ways to motivate you to be more energized and capable, help you in various ways so you can be better at providing a more holistic education and providing optimal learning environments. And then, somebody has to transform the regulations, somebody has to improve the leadership, and then we have to be alert that there's so many new technologies out there, and we have to look into how to incorporate those into what we do, right? So back to our basic question. NEP helps us address this basic question. I'm teaching, are they learning? We must change how we teach. NEP gives us some guidelines. Let us do it, okay? Let us do it, do. Let us not just sit and talk about it. Let us do it. The change, let us do the change that's needed. Let us be leaders. And by us being leaders, we will make leaders out of the students who are in our classrooms. Okay, so let us do as much as possible of problem solving, design thinking, problem-based learning. Again, the same slide I showed you earlier. If students work in teams and do real problems, not just hypothetical problems, real problems in the community or in your own domain area, that will give them a good understanding. They have to clarify the problem. They will learn how to communicate with the clients who are going to be beneficiaries of the problem. That's important. And that way they learn communication skills with society. They learn to understand the social, economic, and political consequences of trying to solve that problem. They will see that that problem is not just mechanical engineering or electrical engineering, computer science. It's a holistic, interdisciplinary problem. That is what they will see when they try to solve real problems. Okay, so that first step is extremely critical. And when they start doing research, they will learn more and more about the multidimensional, holistic, multidimensional aspect of those problems. almost any problem that you can think of does involve multidisciplinary, holistic approach. Very few problems are just so narrow that you just take one discipline and chug away at it. A lot of times, of course, when you do PhD or PhD thesis, sometimes that is what you do. But when you're at undergraduate level, when you're doing projects at the undergraduate level, they're all multidisciplinary. So break away from the mold of I'm in mechanical engineering and I'm so great. Get out and talk to people in other disciplines. Get out and talk to non-engineers and think about projects. Bring them together. Work in teams. Faculty work in teams. Student work in teams to understand the problem better. Communicate with each other. Brainstorm and help the student teams find alternate solutions to that particular problem. Once they find alternate solutions, they'll have to discuss. Okay, this is more expensive. This requires too many resources. You don't understand this as much as you know, and so on. The alternate solutions will have different positive and negative aspects to it. Justify the solution, and then say, okay, we cannot get a perfect solution, so we're going to take one that looks like most reasonable, optimal, and build a prototype. Try it out. Don't fully manufacture it right away until you try it out and test it. Is it helping us solve the problem? Maybe not. And then you go back and pick another possible solution. If it's maybe working out, then keep going or redesign the solution and then finally scale it up, mass produce that solution. Okay. So this is project-based learning. As I said, it is a process. If I do this to help solve a waste management project problem on my campus, I'm still learning the process. If I do this to solve the launching of a space shuttle problem, designing a problem, space shuttle, that's also the same process. So or if I do this to help build a small e-learning center in a small school in the slum nearby, that is a project, and I'm using the same approach, problem-solving approach. So when I learn this process, I'm learning all the skills that MBA wants me to learn. That is teamwork, communication skills, ethics, societal context, project management, etc. Because I'm doing this, I'm managing project, managing time, working with people, talking, etc. Okay, so that is okay. So that is, some people call it PDCA, some people will call something else, but the same process is there. Okay. So this is how we teach, and we must change how we teach, so that we're doing more and more and more of doing engineering, doing projects as much as possible. Okay, so that's again putting this up here again. NEP is telling us this again and again. It's there. Okay, it's all the stuff that the basic thing that I'm emphasizing is in NEP. You just have to implement it. Okay, so just to give you a little idea of a couple of things that we're doing right now after NEP came out. We're trying to implement a prototype with one batch of first-year students at about 15 of our institutions this coming year. Just to get some ideas as to what works and what does not work when we try to do more and more in the direction of holistic and multidisciplinary. So I'll tell you what we'll do, okay? I don't know if, well, maybe not. Let's take a little stretch break, okay? I'm gonna get you all, if you try to get you to wake up a little bit. It's been more than 1 hour, right? And some of you have left your computer on and gone away somewhere. Some of you are just falling asleep on the computer. Some of you are multitasking, doing something else while you're trying to listen to me. Okay, so I have this little thing that I do. I call it laughter yoga. Okay. Any of you done a laughter yoga? Let's just hear from you. Anybody know what laughter yoga is? Anybody? No. Laughter yoga, right?
No.
No? Okay, so we're going to do laughter yoga. You want to do it? Turn on your microphones, everybody. I want to hear this noise as much as possible, okay? Turn on your microphone, all right? We're all going to laughter yoga together. 100 people. So even if 10, 20 people do it, I think you'll have fun. Others can, may not participate, but then, they're not having fun, right? They don't. So this is what we're going to do. All right. So I'm going to teach you a few steps in laughter yoga. Laughter yoga is useful. So yoga, because why is it important? Because when you laugh loudly, your lungs expand and the air is coming from the bottom of your belly up to your lungs, and your whole body gets rejuvenated. Okay. Louder. Okay, from the bottom of your belly. Okay. Okay. Those are unmuted. So just laugh. Okay, for the heck of it. Okay. So the idea is that when you do that, your body gets rejuvenated, and your mind gets rejuvenated, and you stop feeling sleepy or passive. Okay. So for 1 hour, I've been yapping away, and I don't blame you. So you have to laugh a little bit right now. Okay. So to structure it a little bit, I'll teach you. I'll show you a few ways to, rather than just randomly laugh like ha 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 ha. I'm going to show you a few things that you can do. Right. Okay. So this is what you're going to do. If possible, stand up. I'm not going to stand up, but if not, otherwise, just do it the way I'm doing it. Okay. I'll show you the step. All of you will just do it after me a couple of times. Okay. We'll do it together. All right. Ready, everybody? Who's ready? Just say, yeah, ready.
Yeah, ready.
Yeah. How many people? I only 2 people saying ready.
Yeah, ready.
Yeah, ready. No, I need more people saying, yeah, ready. 104 of you are there. How many of you are ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, here we go. Okay. The first exercise, laughter yoga. Okay. I'm going to show you, and then we'll all do it together. Okay. Ho ho ha ha ha. Ho ho ha ha ha. Okay. We'll do that 3 times. Ho ho. Together, all of us with me. Do it. Ho ho ha ha ha. 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 Okay, that's good. So that has got you a little bit energized, right? Okay, that's one exercise. The second one is when little children are always laughing and enjoying themselves for no reason. They're just giggling away, laughing, right? So you're going to be like little children, right? Like little girl, little boy, right? So you're going to yourself. Okay, you're going to go. Very good, yeah. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, very good, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, everybody. Okay, very good, yeah. Very good, yeah. Okay, and let's do the first one again a couple of times. Ho ho ha ha ha. 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 Okay, great. Okay, so that's good. So maybe you got a little bit out of the slumber, sleepy mode. Got you up. I mean, we could go on. I have another 10, 12 exercises that we could do, but not today. Some other day. Okay. Okay. Hopefully, this has helped you. Boom, get out of your lethargy. Which is, remember, this is what's happening to your students when you're teaching them. The students today have an attention span of less than 5 minutes. So if you keep lecturing to them for more than 5 minutes, for more than 10 minutes, for more than half an hour, sometimes almost 1 hour, if you're lecturing to them, what do you think is happening to them? Nothing. They're not learning anything after the first few minutes. You're wasting your time. That's why I say we have to change how we teach. Okay? We have to change how we teach in the classroom, online, etc., okay, so that people receiving information actually learning something by doing something, right? Okay, so what we are trying to do in these 15 institutions that are part of our consortium for this particular pilot is this. Okay, so we are, let me just check it out a bit here. Okay, so 2021-22, I mean, it's got delayed a little bit because all the universities, colleges all over the country are, because the 12th grade exams are not, selection process is taking a while. Normally by this time, everybody would have had first year students on campus, but not this year. So Most of them will probably come by October, end of October. Some are saying only in November. Some already have started. Some colleges at Tamil Nadu have started already. First year students in September, October. Anyway, so we have starting with the pilot batch. One section of first year students will be selected for this pilot batch from each of these 15 institutions. Okay, to try to see if we can move them to some holistic multidisciplinary education. Okay, of course we can't completely turn everything upside down, because then we'll all go crazy. So we have to live within the constraints of what's existing right now and make changes in such a way that we move in that direction. So what we plan to do is we're working with in these 15 institutions, we're working regularly with faculty development, with the teachers who are teaching the first year courses, because almost all your colleges, first year teaching mathematics, physics, chemistry, programming, graphics. So these are the courses that they learn for the most part. But then they learn them in a very dry manner. When you teach and mathematics start to them, they have no idea where this is going to be useful to them as engineers. And we all know it's very useful. But when you teach them in that first year, you don't bother to tell them real world examples and case studies. Physics, you don't really help them understand how that fits into engineering, chemistry, examples of engineering, programming, all of these things. So all the courses that we teach in the first year, students are wondering, why am I learning this? Why am I learning this? I want to be an engineer. Why am I learning this? It's our responsibility to give them real world examples and engineering applications of every concept that we're teaching them in these courses. And that's what we're trying. And that's going to give them the holistic, multidisciplinary understanding of these subjects. Okay, so we're working on that. We're working with faculty who are teaching these courses in the 15 institutions and sharing real world examples, sharing techniques to use the real world examples, and also sharing techniques to make the classroom more dynamic, not just one way PowerPoint presentation. No, get them examples, have them discuss, have them talk, do some lively things and so on, right? So this is one part of the pilot. Okay, so it's one real world example. Okay, now let's see. Now, I don't know if all of you are probably engineering faculty. May I just give you probably already have real world examples. So this slide was meant for faculty who teach math, physics, chemistry to tell me what is the real world example of something you teach, but I'm going to skip that for the time being. Okay, or look at everything that's around you. Right, there's so many things at home: the car, the appliances, refrigerators, heating system, plumbing, automatic, the cars that we travel in, the TV, and so many things that are real world, laptop, mobile. They all are full of examples, real world examples of technology, of the concept that we teach in the classroom, right from the first year. Bring them out. Let's use them to stimulate the thinking and the involvement of the students. That's what we're going to do in that part. Then at the same time, we're having mini courses. Just a small mini courses, not full-fledged mini courses. We will bring some international experts. First year students, these are learning artificial intelligence for all, learning entrepreneurial thinking, leadership and sustainability, thinking campus, social emotional learning, design thinking. These are all being taught in small courses by international experts to this pilot batch of one section from each of the 15 colleges. Okay, so there were 1,000 students in the pilot. So this is again a holistic multidisciplinary approach, and each of these courses will have many projects that they have to, many problems that they have to solve. And so right from the first year, this pilot batch is going to be exposed to the kinds of things NAP wants us to do with them. And we're hoping that we'll assess what we did and learn from it, and some things will work, some things won't. And in 1 year, we might scale it up, okay? But anyway, that's what we're doing. And so we already have done significant amount of faculty development from these 15 colleges. And we have started to recruit the batch, but the students come on campus. So we have trained faculty to teach in a student-centric way using projects and real-world examples, and we have various sessions for that. This is platform based. Meena Kumar have been in charge of those sessions. For 6 mini courses that we are having each of these institutions teach this pilot batch for the first year students. We have Bill Oakes, as I said, design thinking. He's going to teach them design thinking, and there's a small project on that. Each of these courses will have a faculty mentor in the college to help guide the students while the international expert is delivering the overall content. And then Moody from California is going to teach this mini course, Artificial Intelligence for All. Again, there'll be a project at the end of that the first year students will have to do based on AI, whatever their discipline is. And if you look around, AI is useful for everything. It can be for civil engineers, for health, medicine, it can be for mechanical. AI is something that's not just computer science, it's for everybody, all disciplines. Students are coming in all stressed out after COVID, and the first year students in particular, they're coming out of homes, sheltered homes, and they're a little bit confused, right? They need to get some understanding about how to deal with people, how to deal with themselves and their own thoughts. So Pratibha Nagabhush from Australia will have a mini course on social emotional learning. Again, that's an important part of what the NEP has talked about. Entrepreneurial thinking, a couple of people in California and Oklahoma will go through the different steps involved in entrepreneurial thinking, even though we know that all of these students are not going to start companies, they are going to learn entrepreneurial thinking so they can address the real problems and become leaders in the future. We have a whole bunch of people from within India and outside who are going to teach these students and our first year students about clean energy, water, waste management, etc., and help them do little small projects within the campus. Another bunch of experts from around the world who are again experts in waste management, water, and energy and all. They will teach a course on sustainability and leadership, student leadership, and how to address these things by doing small projects. Okay, so and then these are the many courses. In addition to that, in the last year, we have focused on the problem-based learning. And so we've had a University of Aalborg professor as taken the lead in this workshop, symposium, along with Gopal Krishna Joshi, some of you might know from Karnataka State Higher Education Council, and KLE Tech, on how to increase our understanding and implementation of problem-based learning. 110 institutions have participated in that, and now some of them are going to be, following up. And so there are very many challenges. This is much more difficult than just standing up and giving a lecture in the conventional way. So many challenges involved, and you might want to reflect on. I'm not going to ask you to talk about it, but just reflect. What's the most challenging part of implementing problem-based learning? Let's take a minute, everybody. I've been talking again and again about problem-based learning. What is the put in the chat box? What's the most challenging aspect of implementing project-based learning? I've been talking about it again and again throughout the day. That's the key to. Let's see what you.
Innovative thinking.
Innovative thinking. Okay. So chat box, every people. Okay. All of you who I got energized through the laughter. Come on. Talk a little bit about what's the most challenging part of
future outlook of the implemented project.
Okay. How it connects with the use, right? Right. Go ahead. Others come in. I have just only one person in the audience, I think, right? Only you. Nobody else in the audience, right? Who else in the audience? Anybody else? Okay, designing different perspective people. Okay, so you're dealing with the real world, the different people out there. So you have to interact with them, try to understand what the needs are. How can you design products relevant to their needs, right? You can't just think of something hypothetical and design it. You have to find somebody who want to use it, and so on. Okay, so there is this is all the kind, and so this is not what you normally do in your classroom, right? Normally, what you do in your classroom encourages students to mug up and pass exams. We have to get rid of that, folks. Okay, continue to do that. We're not moving anywhere near what we're talking about this whole week. We wasted our time. We're not creating leaders of our learners, because all we're doing is having them mug up and pass exams. We've got to change that. They have to work on projects and lead change to address challenges by working on projects. So if out of you 100 and some people, even if 5 or 10 of you have got that message, I'll be thrilled. I hope more than them have got the message and actually do something about it, rather than just listen and say, oh yeah, that's good. What Krishna Vedula said is perfectly right. and then you go back to the classroom and do exactly what you did before, not change anything, that is not good. Okay, not a good thing. You're just listening and nodding. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's somebody else good. I
Professor
can't do
Krishnaji,
it. Yeah, what do you?
I have some issues to talk to you now. See, our country is highly populated, minimum 60 students per class, right? Even see, we have introduced in VTO internship. I want to share with you the internship, what the students are doing, that is they have to go outside and project-based learning, they have to do it. That to say, in a national or international companies or private limited companies and all, what is that they're paying money also 5,000, 10,000 for 1 month practice.
Right.
What they're doing, they're learning only half-wave rectifier, full-wave rectifier, and MATLAB simulation. Whatever we taught here, only learning outside.
Right.
See, this present fundamental, this should not happen in one day. For example, the organizing of this program only started from 3 months before or
Right.
6 months before.
Right.
See, what this people are thinking. See, even project, and if you take Android, how many is all in YouTube based available? See, Android before, what is the RAM, what is the pin structure, whatever material, see, even field theory is there. That cannot be on any project based. You have to teach the fundamentals. Without the knowledge of physics,
Yes,
see,
yes, I
I'll tell
understand.
you,
Okay,
till
let's
the PUC, it is a basic. Let me complete.
We
Let me
can-
complete. I'll take
Yeah,
1 more minute. That's
yeah,
it.
sure, yeah, complete. Okay, yeah.
See, up to PUC, they get the foundation to understand what is engineering, right? When they come to engineering, we have to tell them the basics again. They don't understand anything. Mug-up will happen till PUC. In engineering, no mug-up will happen. Field theory is the one. Example, I tell you, electromagnetic field theory. Cannot be mugged up. If you understand, apply the concept only, you will get the knowledge.
Right. So let us
Otherwise, you will
stop
be
there.
35%. You won't
I
get
get your
job.
point. I get your point, Dr. Mohan, and
Yeah,
that's so that is good. Good point. That is exactly what I'm saying. No point going and learning something Android or this and that. You have to work on the process of solving problems, and if you teach them some sophisticated principle, it has to be done in the context of a real world application. Okay, and so when you solve problems, you get the context of the knowledge that you're learning. So that is really what I'm trying to emphasize, and we can spend many hours on that later on, but not talking is not enough. We have to, in our own classrooms, we have to demonstrate and do it, just like riding a bicycle. When we start teaching problem-based learning, we will learn that there is a better way to do that and continue to improve. Yeah, no, we have to move on. Okay, thank you, Dr. Mohan.
Bicycle and swimming is that only 2 examples. We cannot all the time relay, professor.
No, but
see,
practical.
That's what only 2 things we can give examples: swimming, cycling.
Yeah,
see,
doing
real practical world. See, we want a creative brain.
Right.
See,
absolutely.
I already developed a. Okay, anyhow, please continue.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's room for a lot of these discussions, and that's why you should have discussions within your college, within your departments, about problem-based learning, and see what the challenges are. Okay, be open to change. That's what I'm saying. Okay, and don't just say let's not do it because of this.
It is a contradictory statement. That's what I made, because the ITI we call ITI is the industrial training centers. We give only practical. There is no knowledge. They can do any best skilled work, but they don't know why it is happening.
So then you have to combine
population
it. Then you have to combine it, right?
Is not in a manner to facilitate it. I don't know IUCE how they are doing it and how many students they produce, where all they placed, what is the structure. As I seen, all the foreign delegates are bit professors are giving their IQ level, and our Indian students, second PU, CET, average student, how they catch, how they grab, what they do. Lot of questions have. Anyway, thank you for good sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, we can discuss this later on. Okay. Which institution are you from, Dr. Mohan?
I'm from SRMBIT.
Let us see. Okay, so let us have a discussion separately, and that way we can. Okay,
yes, sir, just you said no participation wise. Okay. I just asked my doubts. Anyhow, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your sharing. Thank you.
So we are having a mini symposium on some of the colleges that are working on project-based learning, October 9th and 10th. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, now let me give some examples in the next few 15 minutes that I have available of some of the projects that we are getting students to do. Okay, here is a project that recent COVID, right? And again, I keep emphasizing, see, the projects don't necessarily have to be all in your own domain area, because they have to be more interdisciplinary. So if they do a project in general, the point I continue to keep asking is they emphasize the process of doing projects is going to help them develop team skills, communication skills, problems thinking, is doing research and work, and then analyzing, creative thinking, innovative thinking. All of those processes are involved in whatever project they work on. So here we gave them floated a project and said, okay, all the COVID patients are having problem with oxygen. Plants generate oxygen. Why not we find some devices, some ways to take the oxygen from the plants and give them to the patients, right? Students, okay, let's say use your creative brain, innovation, do some research, work in teams, come with some ideas. And we did that. So we had 100 teams a few months back from different colleges all over the country were in this process, and they spent a couple of months and they came up with some of them came with some really good ideas. Some of them were clueless, didn't know what to do, but a few of them came up with really good ideas and give them some prizes and awards and so on. So that is how we are encouraging teams of students along with the faculty mentor to think about real world problems and gain practical project-based experiences. Once they develop that type of thinking, they're becoming innovative thinkers, and they can use it in their own domain areas and whatever field they're in. And when they become engineers in different fields, they can use the same approach. Okay, we're not teaching them the machine learning or artificial sophisticated concepts in these projects, but they are learning how the process of project-based learning by doing that. Okay, so then now we have right now about 100 teams working on on all these 5 projects together. These are real projects, not hypothetical projects that sometimes we have in our curriculum. The real projects such as field testing, okay, of quality of honey, okay. So there's a lot of technology engineering involved in that, okay, innovative thinking, creativity, distillation of essential oils, okay, toys for autistic kids, waste management of perishable fruits and vegetables, blockchain mapping of products. So right now, we have engineering and management students from around the country, about how many? I said 100 teams, right? About 400 students with faculty mentors who are working on. Some of them have picked different topics here, different projects, and so we're guiding them in the process of project-based learning. So whatever project they take, they're learning the process, and that process is what will help them become leaders and engineers, and they might be the next designers of a space shuttle, next designers of a very sophisticated medical equipment, or next designers of the next sophisticated transportation machine, whatever. But in order to design those things and build those things, they have to learn the process of doing projects. And the process of doing projects is inherent in any project that you do from beginning to end, like we're doing in these projects. And that's the key. So this process, as I pointed out again and again, is what they have to learn. And it doesn't matter what this project has to do with, something in electrical engineering, or something in artificial intelligence, or something in chemical engineering, or whatever field. The process is what they have to learn, and that's the emphasis I keep making. Okay, so now I'm going to shift gears a little bit, and put to you a big problem. Okay, that the global challenge that the world faces. Okay, this is the digital divide. Okay, remember we're talking about how to have our learners become leaders to address global challenges. This is typical in many classrooms all over India. Students like this, right? And in this last year, this problem became more severe because of COVID. Fewer than 15% of rural households have internet access. Okay? A mere 13% of people could use internet. And we had all of these schools everywhere in India talk about virtual learning. Again, the students want to learn. How much do you think learning has happened? In the areas where there is not much internet, not much access to technologies. So the majority of people have got left behind because of this digital divide. Okay? Few people can afford it in areas that is available. They did fine, or maybe not that fine, but at least something. The majority of people have been left behind, and this is called the digital divide. Now, this is a problem. This is a global challenge, an Indian challenge. which is true in other countries as well. Can we get our students, our learners to address this challenge, show some leadership in addressing this challenge? As I said, it is the process of addressing a challenge that's going to make them leaders and better engineers. They may be getting a degree in mechanical engineering or computer engineering or computer science. They'll become better mechanical engineers or better computer science engineers or better computer scientists or better chemical engineers if they are better at using a problem solving process. And so that process can be used by looking at this problem and doing something about it. They will learn the process and they'll be use that technique, that process in projects in their own field. Because that requires innovative thinking, creative thinking, communication skills, time management, project management. Those skills are independent of whether there's a particular project in mechanical engineering or electrical engineering or telecommunications or in the community. This is a problem in the community, that we can have teams of students develop project-based experience working on these projects, right? So let's say opportunity of e-learning, helping these small college, small schools, every different parts of India develop e-learning opportunities in the next 1 or 2 years. Develop that with the help of our engineering students. Can you mute yourself, somebody out there? A lot of noise coming from somebody. Please. Please mute yourself. Arunendra. Okay. Okay. So these opportunities out there. If we truly believe that we want to address global challenges, we have to address the digital divide. And our engineering students, management students can go to a nearby school or college, middle school or high school, rural community or in a low-income area, and help develop an e-learning center there and train the students and faculty to use those facilities so that in the future, they'll be better equipped to do virtual learning. Now, doing that kind of a project itself will give them the kind of skills, innovation, creative thinking, project management, communication skills, team building that are needed in order to do their other projects in the domain area. That's the point I'm trying to make, and I hope at least a few of you are able to see that point, that these skills can be transferable to their domain area, even if they do the actual project in an area that is not their domain area. Okay, so this can be a thing that they can do. They can address the problem. Various engineering faculty, some engineering students can adopt this design thinking approach to build e-learning centers in your neighboring schools or small villages or towns. We'll be providing enormous service and be helping bridge this digital divide in places where they don't have access to these things. Okay, this will not only address the problem of the digital divide, but will make our engineering students more leaders, entrepreneurs, and more employed because they are developing all the skills that I showed you in the first few slides about what leadership is all about. Okay. So that process, keep your focus on that process and work on it. Okay. Okay. So are we willing to do anything about it? You can do it. Everybody can do that. Okay. And so with that, I'm going to end my presentation and hope that it has had some help. So, so let us see. I mean, we don't have, I mean, if you want to have any questions or comments, you can do so. My email is over there. Send me an email if you found something that I said useful, if you want to continue the discussion.
Professor, kindly tell us about your started in 2007, it seems, right? Yeah, what is the fee structure you are people giving us for engineering student to join, and what is that structure and how they are placed, etc.? Kindly tell us 1 minute.
Yeah, we started when I was in the United States. So I didn't spend that all full time there. I was full-time faculty member, and so my time was limited. So this last year I came back to India, and I'm now full-time here. And I'm 75 years old, by the way. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Great, sir. Great.
And I've taught for about 40 years engineering education in different parts.
Your voice is 40 years old only, sir.
Yeah, but that's the point I'm trying to make. We all have to be like this.
Yeah, good, okay. Good. God is great. Yeah,
we all have to learn to be like this and make our students full of energy, so they can address these problems. Okay, So we have to be positive. And if you go back to the original slides that I had, we have to generate leaders, students who are motivated, positive, creative. And this is what leadership says, who inspire people, empower people, lead change, shared vision.
Yeah, Professor, what is the fee structure, Professor?
Okay, the fee structure. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of history of IUC. Okay, in 2008, we 7-8, we started discussing this with some friends in India and in the United States, and at that time, the word was up there, headlines, right? Yeah, there are 4,000 engineering colleges in India, lakhs of engineering graduates, but only 10 or 20% of them are employable. That's what the headline, right? Industry is saying that. So what that means, nobody knows, right? They're just saying it. So that perked our interest. I said, maybe, since maybe we can do something about it, or maybe we can help a little bit, whatever little bit can be done. So that is when a group of us, some Indian origin, some non-Indian origin, some industry people from India, people from outside India, we formed IUC. At that time we called it Indo-US collaboration. After that, some people from around the world joined us, so we've got Indo-Universal now. So we formed this thing, and we thought initially, we thought we can make some impact. Yeah, because again, even the last 12 years have been a learning experience for me. Every year we try something. It's like learning a bicycle riding, right? You try something and you fall down. Try something, fall down. It doesn't work. We've been doing that all the time. Last 12 years, we try something, it doesn't work. Try something else, it works a little bit. So it's a learning experience, and that's what engineering is. Continuous learning through trial and error, and by thinking. Enlightened. My best definition of engineering is enlightened trial and error. Okay, there's no magic bullet, magic solution to anything. So enlightened trial and error. So we kept on trying some things. Initially, we said, okay, maybe what will work is we brought faculty from around the world and gave FDPs, faculty development workshop, like you're doing right now, for faculty in India. So we had some good friends. Narayan Murthy of Infosys was a friend of mine, and a few other people. And so Infosys people said, fine, we can have these workshops in the Mysore campus, a beautiful campus if you visited it. Okay, 2008, 2009, we conducted 23 workshops each year with faculty from around the world, giving 1-week workshops to faculty in India. 1,000 faculty benefited from that. And we had Desh Deshpande and Narayan Murthy gave us some money so that we could offer this for free and pay for the travel of the international experts to come to India. And the workshops were in domain areas and how to teach all of these things. And so the faculty came to Mysore, attended 1-week workshops and went away, but nothing came out of it. Because they went back and there were 1 or 2 people, they said, I can't do anything. So just came and just did some sightseeing, and maybe some people learned something, went back, but the system is so complicated. So it's very difficult to change suddenly, right? Can you please mute yourself? Somebody who's talking? Okay, please mute yourself. So that was the first experiment, okay? After 2-3 years, the money that we got, we kept trying these kinds of faculty development programs with international experts and Indian faculty, FDPs. For 2-3 years, we conducted various face-to-face FDPs all over the country. Then at the end of 3 years, Narayan Murthy said, okay, we've given you money, right? And if the colleges are finding some value to what you're doing, they have to pay for it. Otherwise, don't stop doing it, Krishna. Go and play golf. If the faculty, if the colleges are not finding any use from what are not following up or doing anything with what you're telling them, then stop doing it. It's a waste of time. Anybody ever waste time, right? So after about 2012 or so, we said we have to see, are the colleges willing to put some money invest some money into some of the services that we're providing. Again, following Narayan Murthy's example, no free lunch. If everything is going to be free, like AICT is giving you for free, there's no real motivation to really benefit from it because you're not trying hard to gain value from it. So so we said, okay, let us create a consortium of colleges who are willing to invest, because we have some expenses, right? And we can't just depend on outside funding. No point going to some donor and using that money to give services for free to colleges. Colleges are making money out of charging fees, right? You're not giving away your education for free. So college is charging money. So they're making a lot of money. So use some of that money to improve the quality of engineering education if you are serious about it. If you're not serious, if all you want to do is make money and talk about placements and ranking, that is, I'm not concerned about talking with them. But if you're really serious about improving the quality of education of your students, then let us work together. But then you have to invest because there's some staff members, some expenses and so on. My time is free, but I have 3 staff members that I have to pay for doing various things. And so we charge 75,000 rupees a year to be a member of the IUC consortium. And fortunately, for the past 7 years, about 50 or 60 colleges are willing to invest that money because they have found some value in what we are saying and what we are doing, and so many things that we talked about, they're benefiting from it. So they found some value. This is worth 75,000 rupees a year, and they continue to be with us. Okay, but many other colleges who are looking at from outside, they think, oh, already we are #1 ranked. We have NIRF ranking is very high. Already we got accreditation. We don't need any help from outside. We are doing perfect. But it's fine. It's up to them to feel that they're already doing everything properly. But my feeling is that most of them are still need a lot of improvement, whatever, however good they are. And there is a way we work together to try to help colleges. Okay, so it's a work in progress, Dr. Mohan. Okay, so thank you for that.
Thank you. Nice sharing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. So, yeah, any other comments, questions before we?
Sir, I have a question in general. Like,
Yeah.
since you have worked with the industry and since you have a wide knowledge about,
Sure.
talking to policymakers and other things, as far as the country India is concerned,
Right.
one thing which we are all seeing as a major problem is, see, the main problem at the faculty level or teaching level comes from the policy making decisions, which is from AICT or UGC, right?
I agree entirely.
And it's kind of a rigid system, rather.
Right.
It doesn't allow you to, expand your skills.
Right. I agree entirely.
So,
I agree.
From my suggestion is that, since you are interacting with these level of people, why is it that, like, for example, I remember during my school days, everybody is trained to do IIT and all these entrance examinations. And if you look at the Bloom's level of what nowadays they're talking about Bloom's level, the creativity aspect, as I said, and these aspects are not induced.
Right.
It's more, memory based aspects, which was developed at the original time of education, which developed in this country. Whereas the Western societies like America and other things, they looked at skills as the main attribute for development of intelligence, which is not happening here. So how can the policymakers try to change it to ensure that even if you want to get faculties or even if you want to get a stronger collaboration with the industry and to enhance the skills, what can be done? Because it's not happening. As far as the output is concerned, it's not happening.
Yeah, I know. It's a chicken and egg thing. But you're right. I know Anil Sahasrabudhe. I know all the various people around the country, but they continue to have FDPs like this. Right?
Yeah.
This one week FDP is a waste of time.
I cannot comment here, but yes.
No, I'm telling you frankly, these type of FDPs, I sit investing a lot of money on this, and this marginal value, a little bit value may be there, but these have to be designed a little bit differently so that the actually interaction is happening, some outcome is coming out of it, rather than just people listening. Okay? Because we're doing exactly the same mistake we're doing in these FDPs as we do in the classroom. Okay, we're just getting students to mug up, giving lectures, mug up, pass exam. So now we're doing FDP the same way. Just attend like robots, and whether something happened, whether outcome is there or not, we don't know. We still talk about outcome-based education, but we just give input. AICT gives input. Do this workshop, do that workshop, do this MOOC, do that MOOC, do this, do that, and all these things. But nobody is looking at what is the outcome of these things.
Exactly. So what is it that, the framework has to change, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to look at
the mindset.
The mindset has to change. Exactly. So the problem-based learning itself, it becomes a buzzword, right? So you tell them, they will say, we are doing it already. Okay, they say, oh, you are doing it in all these colleges. They're giving all the FDPs on problem-based learning. But they're not practically doing any problem-based learning. They're just learning the buzzwords and vomiting it out.
Exactly.
Okay, everybody is learning, even the NEP, they're buzzwords. Everybody is mugging up the buzzwords in NEP and talking to each other. Oh yeah, we are doing it already. But the actual stuff is not changing.
But sir, do you think this NEP is a good policy to go about in the future?
Yes. But only if you implement it.
No, I have one
doubt. Look at the outcomes. Yeah. Right.
I have one doubt. like I'm not against NEP or neither am I too much supporter of it, but there's one clarification which I have on this NEP policy. I think it should be useful to others also who are listening because we are part of it.
Sure.
See, at least when you look at you and me, or at least when I look at the development of me as a faculty or as a strength, we had built our core competencies to the normal engineering courses. In fact, some core courses were really highly useful. And this had built us as a teaching competency skill, it enhanced this. But somewhere I'm finding that in this NEP system, it's like you become a jack of all trades.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Vivekananda. I think it's a question of how you interpret NEP.
Okay.
Okay, but the words in NEP are very ambiguous.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so what you're saying is right. See,
Yes.
you cannot have jack of all trades. You have to have the T-shaped development, like T-shaped education. You have to have depth, and you have to have the T.
Exactly.
Also. You have to have T-shape, and some people call it pie-shaped, M-shape, whatever. All of these things have to be, but NEP provides a forum for discussing these things constructively among people like us, and trying out experiments, not just talking, not just talking. Talking. We have to try out, okay, this is not clear, I don't understand how to do this. Let us experiment. Okay. Let us be engineers. Engineers are experimenters, doing stuff, and then learn from experiments. So this is unknown territory. Most of this unknown, uncharted territory with everything changing. Anyway, I'm going to stop there because Dr. Rajesh is going to shut us up. Okay, Dr. Rajesh, back to you.
Okay, Mark.
Our time is up.
Dr. Rajesh, okay, sir. Thank you. We can have a discussion later on this.
Yeah. Just I gave you my email ID. Let me just put it up again. And so if you want to communicate, just email me. And I'll send you my mobile number. We can talk. Okay.
Yeah, definitely, sir.
You can email me. Very simple. Krishna@iuc.org.
Yeah.
Very simple. Just email me and
definitely.
We can talk on our mobile.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody.
Thank you, sir.
Offer is open to any of you. The 99 people that are still here. I'm surprised most people stayed. That's good.
Right, sir. Rightly pointed it out.
Okay, Dr. Rajesh, you've been listening to all this fun stuff.
Yes, sir.
You can wind up the operation.
Surely, sir. With your permission.
Yes, sir. Put on the camera once. Let us see you, sir, once. Krishna,
I put on my camera is on.
No, actually, you are not visible to us.
Really? I'm here. I don't know why I'm not visible. Dr. Rajesh can see. I can see Dr. Rajesh. I can see Rajesh. I'll turn off my slides. Maybe that will help. Now?
Very nice. See you. Nice background.
I'm sitting in Goa enjoying the beach.
Yeah, super.
Virtually.
Enjoy. All the best.
Right,
No, your spirit, I like. Thank you.
Okay, I think, dear participants, we have come to the curtains down of this program. And hopefully, I think you all have enjoyed the session being delivered by Krishna Vedula sir. I think you have got the enough knowledge on the theme area that's been addressed by our speaker. I wholeheartedly thank Krishna sir for accepting our invitation and being a part of this program and making a wonderful presentation. Certainly, it was so lively that all the participants really enjoyed the session, and certainly they would have enriched the knowledge in the area. And I think we are still getting a lot of messages, and yeah, that's what I think. It's a good compliments to our speaker sir that he has really educated the participants here. And because of non-availability of time, certainly would have definitely invited him for one more session. Because of non-availability of time, I'm just curtailing him to one particular session or one session only. So with this, I think I thank you all, and especially our speaker sir for having come here and then making a wonderful, most memorable session for all of us, sir. Thank you, sir. Once again, thank you from my side, sir.
Jai Ho.
Thank you, sir.